Zachariah asks, it's sick that you are a jiu-jitsu fighter. I just started Taekwondo. Do you have any tips? Hey Zachariah, thanks for your email, buddy. I appreciate that you think I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter. I'm not. And to prove that, this is my belt in jiu-jitsu. Pure white, right? I actually just started jiu-jitsu, just like how you just started Taekwondo. However, one thing that I do want to share with you if you want to get to this is my good old handy dandy black belt that I was awarded. Actually, this is the name. And my first degree, I got it from Tiger Showman's Karate. So just to kind of share with you, if you want to get to this, right, from this, then what you need to do, and the tips that I would share with you, a couple of things. One, consistency. Consistency is very, very important, especially in the field of martial arts, right? This here, this good old piece of cloth, took me nearly 13 years, right? I started in Taekwondo almost same as you. And for those of you watching, Zachariah here is 8 years old. I was about 8 years old. I was in third grade, 8 or 9, something like that. I was in third grade when I started training. And I started in Taekwondo. I did that for about 2.5 years. I was at the school. I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. But what happened was we moved. And the school that I was training at was too far away. And so we joined up with another school. It was called Master Glazier's Karate. And turned out that Master Glazier's Karate was kind of like an MMA school where MMA being mixed martial arts. They did a mix of karate and Taekwondo. So they focused on the kicks of Taekwondo because Taekwondo has a lot of strong, flexibility demanding kicks, whereas karate had a lot more hard strikes. And so I did that for about 3.5 years. I got to my, I believe, red belt. Yeah, I think I got to my I think I was a red belt, or I was about to get my red belt. The school got into some financial troubles, and so at least that's what we understood. And so Master Glazier knew or had a friend. His name was Tiger Showman. Tiger Showman was a karate master, and he also had a lot of schools, so he bought all the Master Glazier schools. And so our school became a Master Glazier school became from Master Glazier to Tiger Showman's. And so from that point, whatever belt anybody had, unless you were a black belt, whatever belt anybody had, you were automatically a what's it called? A white belt. Now, they didn't give us white belts. They let us keep whatever belt we had. I didn't know that. And to me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to finish. I was about to graduate, and they looked at my skills. They said I was pretty good, and then they gave me my next belt. What was my next belt? It was a blue belt. I was like, but I was supposed to get my red belt. I'm supposed to, I'm so close to getting a black belt. They're like, no, you're not. You're not close to the black belt, not yet. And so it was another maybe 4 or 5 years after that, that I finally got my black belt. And I was in high school. And so now the thing is, a big part about this is that had it not been for my parents making sure that I make it to class, my dad insisting that I go to class, because there was many times I just didn't want to go anymore. Especially during that last turn where we had to start all over again. I was like, and I remember just wanting to be a black belt. So for the longest time, and then we had to start all over again. It's just like, oh. So key thing here is, regardless of what it is, just focus on being consistent. Show up to class, and this next bit is part of that first tip, and this is what I learned. is that when I finally got this, I didn't even realize I was getting it. Right? I'm like, oh, I'm a black belt now. Right? I thought I just had some more to go. And so for me, it was just like, oh. And that's where I came to realize and embraced and internalized, don't chase the belts. Don't go after the belts. And part of that is understanding that the belts will come. Keep showing up to class, keep learning, keep training. The belts will come. Focus on mastering techniques. Focus on getting good at your kicks and your punches and your throws and everything else that's involved in martial arts. Learn the self-defense. Learn how to defend yourself. Learn how to stand up for yourself. Learn how to defend and stand up for other people. And so that's basically tip number 1. Tip number 2 is understand that you need to focus on getting stronger. Like, getting working on strength training. I'm not talking about big muscles, right? Muscles, again, byproduct. Getting six-pack abs, if you're interested in that, it's a byproduct. Don't focus on that. Focus on getting stronger, strength training. And so now there's a difference. Somebody might think like, oh, I'm doing martial arts. Isn't that strength training? No, not necessarily. Martial arts and strength training are not the same thing. And this is something that Bruce Lee had mentioned as well. He actually differentiated in his book. And Reed also, that's part of strength training, strengthen not just your body, but also your mind, right? And so, and that's through education, that's through acquiring skills. But part of the strength training of the body, Bruce Lee was saying that when you go to a martial arts school, and this is so true for jiu-jitsu, very true for jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu has a philosophy, and that philosophy is minimal effort, maximum effectiveness. So in fact, the idea that, when you have, when you get good at jiu-jitsu, in fact, you should be using less and less strength to do what you want to do over time. And in order to be good at that, in order to be doing, you're going to use less strength. Therefore, if you don't keep up on your strength training, then what's going to happen is you're just going to get weaker physically, right? Or you just might maintain yourself. And the thing is, that's why you're going to have to give extra emphasis and extra care and extra focus toward strength training. And strength training is your ability to essentially do like maybe 4 specific movements. And I'm going to simplify it for you, right? So for movement number 1, how many push-ups can you do, right? That's one movement. It's a push, right? You can push this way, you can push this way, you can push this way, but can you get good at pushing, right? That's strength movement number 1. Strength movement number 2 is how many pulls can you do, right? Pulling this way, pulling this way, pulling this way. Number 3 is how many pushes can you do with your legs, right? So if you're talking about pushes with your legs, it's called doing a squat. So from here, actually, and there's different kinds of squats, right? So part of it is, you're from here, you're getting up and down, and part of it is also, and this directly translates to the force and power of your kick. When you're basically throwing a kick, part of it is being able to hold that balance and then kick, bring it back. And when you do that kick, when you're doing that push, right, you're pushing from these hips, and your ability to generate power and generate force is going to be dependent on whether or not you have the strength to throw that kick in to the into your opponent or into the object that you're doing. And the next part, and the 4th major strength movement that translates directly into martial arts in any sport that you're going to do, is how well can you pull in the exercise. So if squatting itself, right, if going up and down and throwing a kick, right, is a pushing movement, then your next thing is the pulling movement, where can you lift something off the ground. So part of being able to lift something off the ground is where you bend down, right, and then you lift, and you're basically pulling with the back of your legs. So that's basically those 4 different types of strength movements. Can you pick things up off the ground? So let's say a friend of yours got hurt and they can't get up. Are you strong enough to help pick them up and move them? So these are like the 4 different categories of strength training that you can do in terms of just in general. And all of it is also connected to your core, right? Can you sit up? Can you lay back down? Can you control your whole body? All of that is tied into that. So that what goes into strength training. So to put it into simple terms, can you do push-ups? Can you do pull-ups? Can you do squats? Can you do crunches? Can you lift things up off the ground, right? How heavy of an object can you lift things up off the ground? Pulling using your legs, not your back. Your back supports you, doesn't do the work. So all of this goes directly and translates directly into martial arts training. If you're strong in a certain area, it'll only supplement and support that. So I hope you find this of value and of benefit. And I am inspired by your question, and it brings me back to when I started. So, and this is a message, and you can also share this with your parents. And my message to the parents of Zachariah is be on your child. Ensure that when they themselves are not feeling like they want to go to class, that you're there to ensure the discipline of them going to class. And part of it is also, getting familiar with the sensei, getting familiar with the professor, getting familiar with the coach or the instructor, or whatever name or title that the martial arts school goes by. And use that as a means of building a relationship and having a mentor figure in the life of the child. So that's one of the things that as you as a child, because their success is going to be is going to be as dependent upon you as it is upon their own selves. At the end of the day, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. So Zechariah, is going to be up to you to drink that water. It's going to be up to you to put everything that you got into class. But Zechariah's mom, Zechariah's parents, dad, whatever, it is up to you to bring him to that water. Now, one of the benefits I had when I first joined a karate school, actually it was Taekwondo school back in 3rd grade, is that my dad's like, look, you can walk to this school. It was literally walking distance. And so I'd get into my karate uniform or my gi, my Taekwondo uniform, and I'd have my stick, my nunchucks, and my karate bag, and I'd just walk right over to the school. And I'd walk right back. But later, when we moved to a different town, at that point my parents had to drive me. So that's the difference. The key thing is you as parents need to support your children in this journey and seeing that they finish, just like how parents would want to see their kids graduate and get a college degree and things like that. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you guys, I wish you guys well, and I am looking forward to your success, Zachariah. And keep me updated. Let me know how you're making it. I'd love to know when you get your first belt promotion. That'll be awesome. And that's it, man. Wish you the best of luck. Wish you the highest of success. And I'll see you soon.